You know that thing we all do. That little voice that says, "Oh, I'll get to that later." Well, what happens when later turns into a lifetime? Today, we're going to talk about just that. It's a story about a woman who spent 60 years waiting.
Wow. Yeah, those words, they really hit you, don't they? They were spoken by a 78-year-old woman named Clara. And her story, it's about a life spent completely for other people and what happens when you finally have to find yourself again, when you think all the time has run out. So let's get into it.
So, Clara's story. It starts in a way that might sound familiar, especially for women of her generation. She got married young, at 22, and boom, she stepped right into a world that had a very clear script for her. She was taught there was a role she had to play, a role she actually called the good woman.
And what did that mean exactly? Well, for Clara, being the good woman was all about complete, selfless devotion. It meant her default answer was yes. Yes to her husband, yes to her kids, yes to her parents, yes to literally everyone but herself. And, in her mind and in the world she was raised in, that was what love looked like. That was strength. But man, did it come at a cost.
So from the outside, she was nailing it. The perfect wife, the perfect mother, the perfect daughter. But you know how it is. Late at night, when everything's quiet, that's when the real thoughts creep in. She had this little voice in the back of her head that would whisper, "Is this it? Is this all my life is going to be?" And every single time she'd just shove it down, feeling this crushing guilt for even daring to think about herself.
And that little voice, it wasn't just random anxiety. It was tied to something real, a specific dream she had, one that she kept tucked away, quietly, for decades. She was always just waiting for the right time, That imaginary day she just called later. And it wasn't some wild, crazy dream. It was simple, really. She just wanted to go back to school, study literature, and become a teacher. That's it. She talks about how her heart would just ache, get heavy, anytime she'd walk by a school or even see a teacher on TV. It was this constant, painful little jab, reminding her of the life she thought she was supposed to have. And later just never seemed to come. It was like a moving target. At 35, her husband would say, "Maybe later, honey, the kids need you." Okay, then the kids are grown and it's, well, maybe in a few years, we gotta save for retirement. Then at 55, her daughter gets divorced and needs help with the grandkids. You see the pattern, right? There was always another reason, another person, another duty that came first.
So decades, literally decades go by like this. Just this endless cycle of waiting. And then something happens. Something that just stops everything in its tracks and throws Clara into what she calls the Great Silence. When she was 71, after 42 years of marriage, her husband passed away. And just like that, the house went silent. I mean, think about it. A home that was always filled with noise, footsteps, people asking for things, making plans. It was just quiet. She was eating alone, sleeping alone, and surrounded by this deep, kind of terrifying emptiness. And in all that quiet, this one question just echoed in her mind over and over. Who am I without someone else to take care of? I mean, she had spent her entire life being a wife, a mom, a daughter. It hit her that she had no idea how to just be Clara. Her whole identity was completely tied up in other people. And that realization, man, it was painful. She understood that she hadn't just been selfless. She had been disappearing. Slowly, piece by piece, just erasing that young woman she used to be until there was almost nothing left of her. But here's the thing. The story doesn't end there, in that quiet, empty house. Nope. This is actually where it gets really interesting. This is where her journey to find herself again really begins. So for about a year and a half, she was just adrift, kind of lost in that quiet. But then, one day, she's going through some old boxes, and she finds this letter. It felt like a voice from the past. It was from her husband, but written way back before they even got married. And in it, he was just raving about her sharp mind, her curiosity, her spirit. And it was like, bam, it reminded her of the person she'd buried so long ago. So there she is, 72 years old, holding this letter, and she makes a decision. Right then and there, she tells herself it's not too late. Now, was she scared? Oh, absolutely. Terrified of what people would say, terrified she'd fail. But there was another voice, a stronger one, that just asked, yeah, but what if you never even try? And that's the voice that won. And she did it. She actually did it. She enrolled in community college. She studied literature,
Art history, philosophy, all the stuff she'd always dreamed about. She started to travel, just little trips at first, then further. And this is huge. She learned how to say no and not feel guilty about it. When her daughter said to her, "Wow, Mom, you've changed," her answer was so simple but so powerful. She just said, "Yes, I have, and I needed to." She felt alive, truly alive, for the first time in decades.
Okay, so what's the big takeaway here from Clara's incredible story? I mean, this is more than just one woman's life, right? It's a huge message, packed with some really tough, hard-won lessons that I think apply to all of us.
So here's the advice she says she would give her younger self, and maybe to us too. First, don't disappear. Don't just vanish into taking care of everyone else. You matter too. Second, having your own dreams, it's not selfish. It's not a luxury, it's essential. Third, learn to say no and be okay with it. And maybe the biggest one of all, stop waiting for permission. Just stop. Because her life proves it, right? There will always be another reason to put it off.
And this, I think, is her most powerful point. This life, it's not a practice run. This is it. This is the real deal, and it's happening right now, today. Clara's story is just such a profound reminder of that. So it really leaves us with a question, doesn't it? What permission are you waiting for? And what would happen, what would really happen, if you just decided today that you don't need it anymore?